we tried to write this, here you go, thank you, in such a way that it's a set of guidelines, okay? Well, he's got it.
Oh, okay.
Here, maybe I have, yeah, I've got one more here. It's a kind of some guidelines to follow. It's, you know, we don't have a strict governance way of doing, you know, how we govern things, but it's just a way to kind of capture what it is, who we are, how we're organized, how we want to run the organization in terms of the tenor of the organization and so forth.
Yeah, that server, by the way, we paid this time for 2 years, so we don't have to pay that again, I think, until 2014, I believe is what it is, so.
Go ahead, George.
How much more do you have of the bylaws proposed?
It's only 2 pages long, this is just about over.
It's almost over, about another page.
Okay. I'm going to jump the gun here. I'm going to make a motion that we adopt the bylaws as you have written.
Even though, we want to see the next page first?
Well, I don't, because I have
I mean, everybody's read it,
Okay.
basically, that's why it was given to them yesterday, so everybody has read through this.
Okay,
I second his
let's
motion.
at least show the next page.
It's there right now.
Please. It's there now. So it explains how we would dissolve, how the amendment process.
Oh, that's all there is to
So we have a motion from George Stokes for
And it's been seconded.
accepting or / approving of the bylaws with, could we amend that by saying with some modifications of some of the wording that we've already discussed here?
We can always modify the bylaws.
Okay,
So we need a starting point. This is it.
okay,
And we'll do modifications as we find them necessary.
okay, so we have a
Motion.
motion to.
Second.
And
It
to
has
go
been
ahead
seconded.
and approve them as they are. We have a second. Is there any discussion? No discussion?
I personally would like to thank
Let's finish
those that,
let's finish the voting first, because otherwise
it's on the second, that put all this together. Very hard work, and I, for one, appreciate it.
Okay. We'll pass on your compliments to the esteemed legal team that put this together.
So we have a first, a second,
Second.
no
Okay,
discussion.
Let's go ahead and take a vote. There's no further discussion. Take a vote. Those in favor of approving them as written, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes have it. Okay. And we need to narrow our discussion down to one city.
This is,
I'd recommend Tampa, Florida, if Leonard and Joni would be gracious enough to go ahead and take that as the coordinator.
So you're
Recommending Tampa, Florida,
Tampa, Florida. Are there
only if they would be
Only if they
graciously
accept.
enough to go ahead and accept it.
in the month of October.
Well, whatever month they say, because I'm going to leave it to their intelligence.
Joe?
Okay, so we have
Joe.
one recommended city, Joni
Joe.
and Leonard taking the lead for it. Is that something you'd be willing to do?
I think we've already discussed it, and
We've talked about it, we've been talking about this for years. As a matter of fact, I think it was like after Colorado Springs the first time, a lot of people wanted to come. That's a concern, though, that I have in kind of following why people aren't coming to the reunion. Don and I have had the opportunity to talk to several people. One in particular that hardly ever misses a meeting. And the cost is just too much. Some people just can't afford to come. And I know that that's a personal consideration, but that's one of the reasons why some of the people aren't here now, because they just can't, afford to come. Tampa has a lot to offer. There's a lot of newness in Tampa, and the reason for that is we just had the Republican convention there. Has a lot of crisp and new things, and it would be wonderful. and I would be very pleased and proud to work with Leonard.
Okay, so we have one recommended option being Tampa, and we've got
At least two people would be willing to work it for us as our advanced team there.
Are there any other suggested cities? We have one option. Are there any others? We've got a recommendation for Tampa, Florida, with two people that have said they're going to step forward and lead the effort for us.
We accept Tampa as our next location.
So we have a motion to
I second it.
accept Tampa, and we have a second from Joe. Is there any discussion? Becky, you had
Oh,
something?
no, I was just.
Okay, no discussion?
No discussion? Let's go ahead and take the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, it looks like we're going to Tampa.
October would be an ideal time for the simple reason. The beginning of the year, we have in Tampa, Gasparilla, sort of like in New Orleans, where everything goes wild, especially in Ybor City, which is like the French quarters. So we don't want to come doing Gasparilla. That's at the end of January, 1st of February. After that, we have the Strawberry Festival in March. And we have the State Fair in Tampa. So in the spring, we have too many things going on in Tampa that would prevent us from really enjoying it. So that would come down to September or October.
Why don't we do it October again?
And October would be the ideal, and that was what I said would.
Okay, I got the dates I'm going to post. It's going to be 16th, the 19th,
16th, 17th, 18th.
and 19th, finish up the 19th. That would be a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. See, tentatively, the dates are
Good.
the 16th to the 19th of October 2014. And we can always change that to whatever date, as it gets further down the wire. You may not be able to get accommodations at the hotel you want that weekend. It might be the next weekend or the weekend before, so forth. That gives you
Okay,
flexibility.
we'll move on.
I recommend Bob Sisk as the
Nominations.
director.
And I second.
Okay, let me just say something. Everyone's familiar with what our director does. It's stated in our bylaws. Everyone's familiar with that. And you already know that we've got a leadership team that supports whomever the director is. So with that in mind, any nominations from the floor, please?
I'll nominate Bob Sisk
I'll second.
for the next director.
So we have a nomination for Bob Sisk, and with a second. Any discussion about Bob?
No.
He just has to
Is that
put
your
his
answer, or
speeches
you
down
wanna
a little bit.
Okay, so that we've got one nominee here. Are there any other nominees? Any other nominations?
I move nominations be closed.
We have a motion
I
to
make a
close
motion, I accept.
nomination.
Second.
We have a second.
I second.
Okay. Okay.
All the stuff that.
Well,
Okay,
we have one nominee and Bob is accepted. I take it everyone's in agreement that Bob should be their next director.
Here.
Here. Okay.
Okay,
So did you hear that? Bob already has personalized license plates that say Chamblay 1 on them. To show you how confident he was.
How about a round of applause for our last director, for Bob Ferguson?
I can attest that having a reunion with people in place to do the groundwork is a real blessing, because when we went to Washington and we went to Branson, we had to use a tour guide to put all the thing together. We had no one on the ground to do what needs to be done and make our reunions better. So it's really helpful when we have the Arizona team this year, and we've got one in Tampa coming up. Now, let me ask a couple of questions. Amy, you're a secretary, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Oh, look at that.
I know who's my bread and butter.
Okay, Paul Bell has been doing our rosters for many, many years. Has that been transferred to you?
Not that I'm aware of, but
No.
I'd be glad to take it if you would like to get rid of it.
Pardon?
I said I can do it.
Well, that's
It
what
has
I'm,
not been given to me yet.
well, that's what I'm leading up to, because Paul is 88, and we need to make sure we have backup or someone that's going to be doing it simply because of age. If something happens to me, who's next in line to take the funds and the organization?
How about the past director?
He
Well, I
doesn't want to
believe, in all
accept.
due respect, Bob, I feel like it would be just a temporary move. Just a temporary until someone else is elected.
Well, I'll take that, just don't give me a formal title that says that, but I would be willing to step in if we had a crunch, yeah.
That filled in the gap. Now, the next question is, we saw the
Thank you,
We
Bob.
saw the roster issue, and probably one of the more important issues, when Mitt R. gets elected president, he may have a heart attack. A Democrat, you know. If something happens to Joe, what do we do with our website that's the most important function of the organization that keeps everybody informed and alive?
We couldn't even afford somebody.
Sell on Craigslist.
Pardon?
What I will do, because I have thought about this for a long, long time, and I have tried to get other people that would be a backup. Right now, I do have a backup, but I'm not sure how good he is. God bless him. I shouldn't say that because he's not here. But right now, Frank Meyer is the webmaster backup if something were to happen to me.
Okay.
And we would use Dreamweaver. But once again, he would have to start from nowhere. What I will do is I will discuss it with my son Jason. He is a .com person. That's what he does for a living, and he's made millions at it doing it. So I will talk to him and let him know what I have, and I will get back to you as the director and the leadership team if he accepts, and I will see if Jason can go ahead and accept as to be my backup for the.
Well, that would be tremendous. We would appreciate that. Okay, let me close out my little portion here. And again, I want to thank Bob. He's going to be hard to follow for these last two reunions, and we all know that. And let's give him another hand of applause. So we look forward to working with this, and we'll try to follow in his footsteps. And, appreciate it. Appreciate all of you volunteers that's come forward to assist in the team leadership program, and we're looking forward to Tampa Bay.
Oh, this might be it.
I know a great Greek restaurant there.
I make a motion that we adjourn. Okay, those who have pictures with cameras, if you don't have it right now, run to your room, get it and bring it back, please. I'll wait for you. I don't need the battery, I just need your chip. Oh, okay.